So this draws in just like so. Now, because of the amount of pressure on my back, I'm not going to be able to face him. So I continue to roll, and then I face like so, and then I will fire that round. What we're going to be working on is how to draw your pistol on the ground. So we're going to be working on your overhand and underhand retention grip. So what happens is you get taken to the ground by your opponent's superior ground fighting skills or wrestling skills, or your inability to stay on your feet because you tripped and they follow you to the ground. I have Jimmy Terrell here. He is a national Jiu-Jitsu champion and a world MMA champion. And so basically he's a real good friend of mine that usually likes to choke my favorite neck on a regular basis. And so today what he's going to do is he's going to be my attacker, and he's going to embarrass me on the ground. So Jimmy has taken me down to the ground. Let's talk about being into a position of semi-control on the ground, meaning your guard. Your legs are directly around so that you have a little bit of pressure with your hips and your knees as you're pushing them away. I'm going to try to draw my pistol into my hand, and in order for me to do that, I need to make sure that I have positive hand control. And so what happens is I'm here, my hands are right over the top, and then I want to make sure that I'm inside his hands or I am under his hands. Okay, this is very important because as I access my pistol itself, I want to make sure that he cannot get to it first. So if I'm in this position here and his hand is under mine, as I reach for my pistol, he has the ability to grab that before I actually have positive contact with both hands. So make sure that as you're here and you're fighting, you're either in between or you're just directly underneath. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to do a two-handed draw and draw into that overhand retention grip as we did from standing. So I'm going 1 and 2, and then my hand's right on top. Okay, so you're going to notice that as soon as I get my initial grab, my other hand goes right where the holster is. That way, I am not drawing out and exposing a little bit of the front of the muzzle here. Okay, any type of exposure of that is going to allow him to grab that and pin that down, and this is going to cause issues for me because he's going to start to strip that out of my hand. So, as we're here, I'm fighting in this position, and then I'm going to go for this. My hips are bridging, and now I'm right into an overhand retention grip. As he is trying to press this down into me, you'll notice that this is high into my chest. I rotate my body sideways, my elbows flared out to the side, and then my other elbow is framed into the ground. Because of this 45-degree pressure, he can push as hard as he wants or try to move the gun around, and I can control where his weight is. All I have to do from here is make sure that my finger goes on the trigger and fire that round. Once I get one round through him, I understand there is a malfunction here. This is where I can bring my legs up. You'll notice that when I did fire the round, my legs are on the ground here. I am not doing any type of open guard. I'm not trying to play here. Otherwise, I may have the tendency of shooting my feet. If my legs drop, I fire the round into them. As soon as that happens, then I can press them away, do an immediate action, put a few more rounds directly into them here, and then use one of the get-ups that we taught. And as you are doing so, make sure that you are looking around and making sure that there are no more bad guys to deal with as you go back to the original threat. So we're back into this position here. He's taking me down to the ground here. I'm trying to fight, press him away. We'll show later on how to use small joint manipulation or eye gouges or pressing directly away from here to get up. But basically, I'm going to get to the pistol. My hands rotate in. Notice how my hips bridge, and then I'm rotating. Now from this point, this is where I fire this round. Get your legs in front, kick them away, immediate action, and then stand up. If for some reason, as you are pulling this into your hand, he presses down at the base of your grip, you're going to have to rotate in the other direction. So here. So as I'm drawing the gun into my hand here, he presses directly down and he pins the gun into my chest. I can't rotate to one direction, so I'm going to rotate in the other, and my elbow hits the ground, pointing this way, directly underneath, and then I would fire the round right here. Now from this point, kicking him away, immediate action, firing the rounds here, and then use one of the ways to get up. Make sure that you do your scan. So this is from the position where you on your back, you're able to get your legs directly around. The other positions on the ground that are of control or that you could end up in are going to dictate whether or not you need the overhand or the underhand retention grip. All right, so we're going to go over side control and then mount and then show you some different variations from there. If you're enjoying this video, I want to take a second to talk about EliteU.com, where you'll be able to find early access to all of our YouTube content, as well as exclusive interviews and access to mentors. And now back to the video. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering side control and mount as two positions that your opponent can drive into. Because of the increase of practicing certain combative sports such as wrestling and MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, the likelihood that they can take you down to the ground, control you, and then get to one of these positions is more likely than not. So what happens is Jimmy takes me to the ground and he gets into side control. The first position we're looking at is here, and I'm facing him. All of these techniques I'm going to cover in detail in the grounded section, but basically I'm facing him here, trying to get my legs directly in, but I can't. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to stop him from controlling my head or trying to pin me to the ground, so both hands are locked in. Now what I'm going to do is get up to my elbow and then press so that I can get directly to my feet in front of him. So once again, he's here, he's smashing me down. I'm going to control this other arm so he can only glue his right arm and lean into me here. My elbow clamps down so that it pulls me away, and then my feet get in front. This allows me to bridge, and now I am right into my overhand retention grip. In a different angle, if he takes me down here, and now I am faced directly away, I am going to try to go into an underhand retention grip. I want you to control the hand just like so, draw with one hand, and then from here, I'm going for an underhand retention grip. So this draws in just like so. Now, because of the amount of pressure on my back, I'm not going to be able to face him, so I continue to roll, and then I face like so, and then I will fire that round. So watch that again. This is in a position where he's taking me down and there's a lot of pressure. I'm controlling this bottom arm. My head is pressing away. This is going to allow me to access my shirt, drawing into my hand. And now from here, I circle towards, and I'm going to fire there. And then the last one that we want to talk about is maybe we start to get to the ground. I was trying to press up. I'm going to control the head. Pressing the head away using the same elbow lift here. I'm pulling my body away, and then in turn my feet get in front. I can go for an underhand or an overhand based off of what you are most comfortable with. All three of those techniques we will go in depth, in detail for the grounded section of our training. Now we'll talk about the mounted technique. So what happens is Jimmy takes me down to the ground. It gets into the mount position. There are a lot of curriculum or techniques that talk about breaking down one of the arms, trapping the leg, and then rolling over. I have found that usually if they have enough wrestling background or jiu-jitsu background to take you down, they usually have enough to stay on top. And so instead of trying to destroy their base of somebody that is superior on the ground or heavier than you, we're just going to try to reposition where their weight is. So from here, what I want you to do is this arm is going across, creating a frame past 90 degrees. I'm then going to press him directly to the side like I'm trying to push away. You'll notice I'm pushing on his hip and his belt. Now from here, I'm going to turn in and my legs are come up. So as he tries to continue on top, I'm just basically kicking my legs, and that allows me to draw into an overhand retention grip. So instead of just trying to throw him off, I'm just redirecting that weight, especially as he's getting in the mount. So if he takes me down, drives into the mount position, I'm going to use that to push him away. And now from that point, I can draw here. One more time on that one. So as we're here, he gets directly on top. I'm transitioning the weight this way, and then I'm walking my feet that way so that I can face. As soon as I'm cleared, then I can draw into whatever position I need to. So once again, that is just a quick overview of two control positions I have found that a lot of people try to ignore, because there really isn't much of an answer unless you have some sort of positive control of both ends of that pistol. So what we're doing here is we're talking about the overhand retention grip and what happens when they counter. The strength of the overhand retention grip is it allows you to control both ends of the pistol with a positive control. The issue here is that because of the frame that is created, when any type of pressure is applied that actually manipulates that frame, the entire motion or your entire body actually gets moved. So as he's grabbing, if I go like this and I go here, he can't actually move the frame from side to side. But if for some reason he has the ability to put a lot of weight on the front of my arms and press that directly down, what happens is because I have a connection with both of my arms here, it's going to point the muzzle down. And so what happens is from this point, I'm trying to figure out another way to access and get that muzzle on him. So from here, as I'm here, I'm trying to drive this in. He presses this down. My elbow is going over the top, and then it'll go right into his neck here. Okay, from that point, I'm going to press the gun into his chest and fire this round here. So we did this a little bit previously with some of the other demonstrations, but I wanted to show where that is applied. You'll also notice that on the grounded section, if for some reason I can't rotate to my right side, that is the immediate action that I'm doing where I'm being pressed down. I go to the other side. So here's this situation. I'm here, I'm trying to drive this in. He pushes this across. My elbow goes over. You'll also notice that I'm stepping out and wide. Then I press the gun here. This is going to be a weird angle on your wrist. Most of the times you're trying to create some sort of bone alignment on this so that the gun will cycle. The issue here is that we understand that we're going to cause a malfunction. So we don't care, we just want to make sure that we are securing the back so that it is not going to kick all the way through, and I'm squeezing as hard as possible on the slide so there is no slide bite. So I go here, when he presses directly down, my arm goes over the top. Remember, this is 45 degrees and I'm pressing down. Then I press into him with the muzzle, fire the round. This is where you would strike, go into an immediate action, and then start putting a few more rounds into that threat. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed that content, we have more videos over here for you to check out. For those of you looking to enhance your knowledge, make sure that you go over to eliteu.com, where you will have early release of YouTube videos and access to exclusive content. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.